Hello, Alicia.
Hi, Jared. Welcome, everyone, to Vibrations and Manifestations.
Yeah, welcome.
I have to say, walking into the studio this morning, the air didn't just feel cold, it felt definitive.
Definitive. That's a good word for it.
Yeah. It's that specific late January, almost February snap where the wind just, it cuts right through the layers.
Oh, completely.
I wore the light jacket thinking I could tough it out.
Oh, rookie mistakes.
Total rookie mistake.
I saw you shivering in the parking lot. I'm not doing much better. My glasses fogged up the second I stepped inside.
Yeah.
It is absolutely that time of year where you need a hot beverage just to convince your brain to boot up.
100%.
I've got my tea. You've got the coffee.
We are caffeinated.
We are caffeinated. We are thawing out. And we are reasonably acclimated.
Reasonably is the operating word. But that biting cold, that sort of sense of a sharp reality check, it actually feels incredibly appropriate for what we are opening up today.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we're doing a deep dive into the idea of the spiritual warrior, and specifically how this Aquarius season is kind of reflecting that energy back to us.
And if you've been following along with the conversation we've been having, you know that last week we dropped a pretty heavy concept.
We did.
The idea that we are Magi now.
Right. Not someday. Now.
Right. The idea that we've crossed some kind of threshold from seeking to being. It's such a powerful pivot.
It really is.
For years, I think the collective conversation has been about healing, searching, fixing.
Yeah.
Always in that kind of apprentice mode.
The prep work.
Always the prep work. And the argument was that the graduation ceremony has happened.
Yeah.
We're the ones in the chair now.
Exactly. And today we're taking that internal shift, that realization of, oh, I'm the adult in the room, and holding it up against the external world.
Specifically the sky.
The sky. Which brings us to the title of this exploration, The Sky Agrees. Aquarius season and the rise of the spiritual warrior. Now, I want to be really clear right off the top, because I know people have, very different relationships with things like star charts and retrogrades and rising signs.
Oh, for sure.
The way we're approaching this and the way the conversation is framed is that astrology is a mirror. It's not a master.
That's a crucial distinction. It really is. And honestly, it's the only way I can really engage with this stuff without, rolling my eyes a little.
Right.
It's not about the planets beaming down instructions or sentencing you to a bad week. It's not predictive.
No.
It's about cosmic texture. The idea that the patterns in the sky are reflecting the psychological and systemic shifts we are already feeling down here.
It's validation, basically.
That's the perfect word. It's
Okay.
validation. The sky is looking at our chaotic, pressure cooker reality and saying, yes, this is exactly what time it is.
And the time it is, apparently, is the time of the spiritual warrior. But, and this is why I was so excited to dig into this, the definition of a warrior here is not what you think.
Not at all.
It isn't Braveheart. It isn't swords and shields and charging into battle with a war cry.
No.
It's actually closer to spreadsheets, nervous system regulation, and very distinct boundaries.
It's a complete rebrand of the archetype, and I think it's right on time. We usually associate warrior with noise, with conflict, the imposition of will.
The loudest voice.
Yeah, the loudest voice in the room winning the argument. This conversation argues that in this time, with the specific astrological and systemic pressure we're under, the true warrior is the one who can stay regulated when the system destabilizes.
Okay, so it's an internal stance.
It's an internal stance, not an external aggression.
Which brings us to this fascinating historical anchor. I love when the esoteric stuff gets grounded in history.
Me too. It makes it real.
It does. And the whole concept is anchored not in some myth, but in a very gritty reality from the mid-1800s.
And the protagonist is someone I think we all know, but maybe don't really know.
I was surprised, but then totally convinced to see Florence Nightingale. I think most of us have this soft focus image of her, the lady with the lamp.
Right. Smoothing blankets?
Very gentle, very quiet.
That is the Victorian sentimentalism version. It's the version that looks good on a commemorative plate.
Yes.
But if you strip that away and look at the mechanics of what she actually did, it's a whole different story.
Well, let's talk about the reality. The Crimean War, where she made her name, it was a horror show.
A total horror show. We aren't talking about a modern hospital with booping machines and sterile hallways. We are talking about a systemic collapse.
The details are pretty graphic. Overcrowded hospitals, sewage literally flowing across the floors, rats, no ventilation.
Yeah.
And the most shocking part was that soldiers were dying from typhus and cholera at rates far, far higher than from bullet wounds.
They were dying of neglect. The system had completely failed the people it was supposed to protect.
Exactly. So she didn't walk into a sterile environment to offer a little bit of comfort. She walked into a disaster zone.
She did, and this is where the spiritual warrior distinction comes in.
Yeah.
Florence was deeply spiritual.
I didn't know that about her.
Oh, yeah. She wrote extensively about feeling a specific divine calling to this work. She was a mystic in her own right. But, and this is the key takeaway for you listening, she didn't use her spirituality to bypass the reality of the sewage.
Right.
She didn't walk into that hospital, close her eyes and say, well, suffering is an illusion, or I'm just going to manifest a cleaner room with my mind.
She didn't try to high-vibe the cholera away.
No.
She didn't tell the dying soldiers that they just needed to raise their frequency.
She scrubbed the floors, she organized the supply chains, she collected data. She was actually a pioneer in statistics.
Right. She invented that polar area diagram, which is like the great-grandfather of the pie chart.
Exactly. She used data to fight with the military leadership who didn't want to listen to a woman. So her famous lamp, it wasn't a magic wand. It was a symbol of her ability to regulate herself inside the darkness, rather than trying to transcend above it. She carried her own light through the mess.
That phrase, regulated inside the darkness rather than transcending above it, that really sticks.
It's everything.
I think that's the bridge to the modern context that we're all feeling. Most of us aren't in the Crimean War, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
But a lot of us feel like we're working or living in systems that are failing, whether it's healthcare, education, politics, or just the corporate structure. You see the cracks.
Oh, absolutely.
And the temptation is to check out, to float above it.
Or to panic. Those are usually the two options our nervous system gives us. Dissociation or overwhelm.
Check out or burnout.
Exactly. And the warrior stands in the gap.
So this is where we can bring it to a personal level. We're having this conversation, right? Creating this deep dive.
Right.
And the choice to do this, to have these kinds of conversations, it wasn't a result of having tons of free time or feeling perfectly calm and enlightened.
Not at all. It was a warrior choice.
A warrior choice to refuse to offer just escapism. The goal here is to create something that helps you, the listener, regulate, not just distract yourself.
It's the choice of contribution over comfort. It's about staying present.
It's interesting to think about speaking up or just creating something, anything, as a warrior act. But when you frame it as refusing to abandon yourself or the world, it takes on a different weight.
A huge weight.
It's not about likes or downloads or anything like that. It's about holding a frequency of truth in a very, very noisy room.
Precisely. And that brings us to the why now aspect. Why is this archetype rising up right now in February 2026?
Yeah.
This is where we have to look at that mirror we talked about, the astrology.
Right. So we have the archetype, Florence Nightingale, the administrator warrior. Now let's look at the sky.
Okay.
We have a few major players on the board, Aquarius, Pluto, and a big, big move from Neptune. I'm an amateur at best with this stuff, so walk us through the cosmic texture here. What are we looking at?
Okay, so it's a heavy mix. It's almost like a specific chemical reaction happening.
Yeah.
First, you have the sun and several other planets in Aquarius.
Oh.
Now, Aquarius is an air sign, fixed quality. It represents the futurist, the network, the system. It's the sign that looks at the collective structure, the hive, the community, and asks,
Is this working?
exactly, is this true? Does this work for everyone? Is this efficient?
So it's the auditor of the zodiac?
In a way, yes. It's the architect and the auditor. But then you add Pluto into the mix.
And Pluto is always intense.
Always. Pluto is the planet of transformation, but specifically through revealing the shadow. It dredges up the rot from the basement so you can't ignore it anymore.
So Pluto in Aquarius means?
It means we are seeing the shadow side of our systems, our technology, our politics, our social safety nets. We can't unsee the cracks in the foundation anymore. The lights are on in the basement.
That feels incredibly accurate to the headlines lately. Everything feels a bit exposed, like we're seeing the gears grinding behind the curtain.
Right. But the real driver of this warrior energy, the thing that's really pushing us, is the shift of Neptune. This is a huge generational shift.
Oh.
Neptune has been in the sign of Pisces for over a decade. Pisces is its home turf, dreamy, watery, imaginative, boundless.
The mystic.
The ultimate mystic. It's been the era of manifestation via visualization. We've spent a lot of time dreaming up better worlds, creating vision boards, focusing on the internal feeling, dissolving boundaries.
High ideals, soft edges.
Perfectly said. High ideals and very soft edges.
Hey.
But now, Neptune is moving into Aries.
And Aries is not soft.
Aries is fire.
Mm-hmm.
Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the I am, it is action, it is the spark. This is the great migration from dreaming to doing.
I like that phrase.
You can't just visualize peace in an Aries era. You have to build it. You can't just dream of health. You have to move your body.
So the friction, the tension a lot of us are feeling right now.
It's the friction of that transition. We are being asked to take all the beautiful high-vibe concepts we learned in the Pisces era and drag them down into the friction of physical reality.
That explains so much. It's like we've graduated from the classroom where everything is theoretical, and now we're on the job site.
Yes.
And it's cold, and the equipment is heavy, and you actually have to lay the bricks.
Precisely. And that requires a different operating system. It requires what we're calling embodiment. You can't think your way through an Aries transit. You have to act your way through it.
And that is scary.
It's terrifying because action has consequences. Action is messy. Action is prone to failure. Dreaming is safe. Doing is risky.
Which brings us back to the redefinition of the spiritual warrior. We touched on it with Nightingale, but let's get specific. If it's not about fighting, what is it about?
Okay, there are 3 core criteria. The first one is being able to stay nervous system regulated in a destabilized world.
Which is not easy.
It's the hardest part. The second is holding power without bypassing responsibility. So, not using your strength to escape.
And the third?
Staying connected to source and reality simultaneously.
Okay, that one is the hardest. Usually when reality gets tough, we disconnect from source, we lose hope, we get cynical, we become materialists who think nothing matters.
Or the opposite.
Or when reality gets tough, we disconnect from reality. We go into spiritual bypassing, we pretend everything is fine, we float away.
And the warrior holds the tension of both. They stand with their feet in the mud, which is reality, and their head in the stars, which is source.
So it's about saying, this is hard and I am capable.
Yes. Or the system is broken and I can take one useful step. It's the and.
I want to pivot here because this is where things get really practical. We're not just going to stay in the realm of metaphors. We need to talk about why this shift feels so physically taxing.
It's so important to ground this in biology.
Yes. So let's talk about systems theory and neuroscience. There are 2 big concepts we need to unpack: systems tipping points and identity lag. Let's start with identity lag. It sounds like jet lag, but for who you are.
That's a great way to put it. It's very similar. Think of your identity, your self-concept, as a map your brain has drawn of the territory.
Okay.
It tells you what is safe, what is possible, and who you are in relation to the world. It's a prediction model. Your brain loves to predict things. It wants to know that if you do A, B will happen.
But right now, the territory, our technology, the speed of information, the social structures is changing exponentially.
So the map is outdated.
We're navigating a 2026 world with a map from 2019 or maybe even 1999.
Or even older. I mean, our biological hardware hasn't changed much in thousands of years.
That's a good point.
The lag is that gap between the reality of the environment, which is fast, complex, high stakes, and your internal calibration, which is designed for a slower, community-based, linear world.
And that gap creates friction.
So much friction. We experience it as anxiety or brain fog or that pervasive feeling of, I can't keep up.
And what's so important here is that this isn't a spiritual failing. It isn't because you aren't meditating enough.
No. It's a biological reality. Your hardware is trying to run software that is updating every 24 hours.
That is so validating. I think so often we interpret that anxiety as a sign that we're doing something wrong.
Right.
If I were more evolved, I wouldn't be stressed. But what we're saying is, no, if you're stressed, it just means you're trying to process a massive system update.
Exactly. And then you layer systems theory on top of that.
Okay.
Systems theory tells us that when a complex system, like a culture, or even just your personal life, reaches a certain level of stress or complexity, it hits a tipping point.
It can't stay the way it was.
It cannot remain as it was. It has 2 choices. Collapse or reorganize into a higher order of complexity.
And we are at a collective tipping point.
We are absolutely there. And the warrior is the agent of reorganization. The warrior is the part of the system that says, okay, we're not going to collapse. We're going to evolve.
This is where the diagnostic comes in. Because if the pressure is this high and the demand for evolution is this strong, the brain looks for an exit ramp.
It wants to go back to the old comfortable map.
It wants to bypass. Which brings us to spiritual bypassing. Now, this is a term that gets thrown around a lot, but let's define it clearly in this context. It's based on John Welwood's concept.
Right. Welwood defined it as using spiritual ideas to sidestep personal emotional, or unresolved psychological issues.
Okay.
So it's using the absolute truth, like everything is one, to avoid the relative truth, which is my rent is due or my friend is hurting.
And we can expand that to include societal avoidance too, right?
Absolutely. It's saying it's all an illusion so you don't have to deal with the pain of your neighbor. It's
Yeah.
the high vibe only wall we put up.
It's a defense mechanism. It's armor made of light, but it's still armor.
It is. And we need to be compassionate about it. We bypass because we feel unsafe. If I admit the world is this messy, I might fall apart. If I admit the system is broken, I feel like I have to do something about it, and that's overwhelming.
So I just pretend it's not real.
Exactly. But the argument here is that in the Piscean era, the dreaming era, maybe you could get away with that. You could live in the monastery of your mind.
But not anymore.
But in the Aries and Aquarius era, the system requires your participation.
Yeah.
If you bypass, you are abandoning your post. You are leaving the hospital floor when the patients need you.
Wow. That's a tough reality check. Transcendence without embodiment is just avoidance.
It really is.
It's like you can meditate on the mountain, but eventually you have to come down to the market and chop wood and carry water. And right now the market is chaotic.
And the water is heavy.
Yeah.
And the warrior is the one who says, I'll carry it.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We're lagging, we're tempted to bypass, and the sky's yelling, go! So this is where we shift into a real-time workshop.
Right. We don't just want you to think about this. We want you to feel it, to do it.
We're going to walk through 4 steps to actually embody this shift. And I want to go through these slowly because they are deceptively simple, but they follow a very specific physiological sequence.
They do. They move from the nervous system up to the action. You can't start with action if the body is frozen.
That's just panic.
That's just panic. You have to start at the base.
So step 1 is nervous system arrival. It starts with something as basic as orienting.
Right. So right now, wherever you are, just notice one solid thing your body can feel. It could be your feet on the floor, the weight of your body in the chair, maybe the texture of your shirt.
It sounds so trivial.
It does, but anxiety lives in the future. What if this happens? What about next year? The body only lives in the present. You cannot be a warrior if you're time traveling. You have to be here.
Let's actually do that for a second. Even for us here in the studio, I can feel the edge of the desk. It's cool. It's solid.
And I can feel the warmth of my tea mug. And suddenly my mind isn't racing about the traffic later. I'm just here holding the mug. That's the arrival.
It's the put on your own oxygen mask principle. You can't help if you're hyperventilating.
Exactly.
Okay, so once we've arrived, step 2 is the micro practice. From dreamer to doer. This is where we bridge the gap.
The prompt here is to pick one value that matters to you. It could be truth, or fairness, or creativity, or kindness. Let's say you pick community,
Okay.
and then you ask yourself, what is one small action that allows my body to participate in this value this week?
And the emphasis is on small.
Small counts, quiet counts, unseen counts. That is vital.
Because we think warrior means launching a nonprofit or leading a protest.
Right. And maybe it does eventually, but usually the first action is sending the email you've been avoiding.
Or setting a boundary with a family member.
Or just cleaning your kitchen with intention, looking the cashier in the eye and really asking how they are. Small actions signal the nervous system that you are capable of impacting your reality.
It breaks the freeze response.
It does.
I love that. I am capable of impact. Even if the impact is just a clean kitchen counter, it reminds the brain that you have agency.
Yes.
Which leads right into step 3. Reframing readiness. This was the one that hit me hardest. You do not wait for readiness. Readiness is created through movement.
It's the complete opposite of how we usually operate, isn't it?
Totally.
We wait to feel confident before we act. We wait to feel ready. But the neuroscience of behavioral activation shows us that the brain generates confidence by observing you do the thing.
Not the other way around.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
If you wait for the feeling, you will wait forever. There's a great line, doubt doesn't mean stop, it just means slow.
So you take the step while shaking, you take the step while doubting.
Yes, and after you take the step, the brain looks back and says, oh, we survived that, okay, maybe we are ready. The readiness is the trailing indicator, not the leading one.
And finally, step 4, intentional pacing.
What pace allows me to stay present without burning out? That's the sovereignty piece. The world creates urgency, the news cycle creates urgency. The warrior creates pace.
So it's not about reacting.
No, If you rush because the news is scary,
Yeah.
you aren't regulated. Florence Nightingale didn't fix the hospital in a day. She built a system. That takes pacing. It takes saying, I will do this much today and then I will rest so I can do it again tomorrow.
Sustainable action.
That's what being a warrior is. It's about endurance.
Okay, let's move into what's called manifestation debug mode, which I love. It's like troubleshooting your own operating system.
Yeah.
We're identifying a specific piece of static, a mental block, that keeps people stuck in that dreaming phase. And the static is, I'm not ready yet.
Or, I need more clarity.
Yes.
That one. It's the most common delay tactic of the ego. I need another certification. I need to heal my inner child a bit more. I need the stars to align perfectly.
I need to know exactly how this turns out before I start.
That's the big one. And it's so important to identify this as protection, not intuition.
How do we tell the difference? Because sometimes we do need to wait, right? Sometimes it is intuition saying, not now.
Okay, there's a great somatic check for this, a body check. If the thought, I need to wait, comes with a feeling of tightening, holding, or constriction in your chest or your gut.
Bracing for impact.
Yes, if it feels like you're bracing for impact. It's fear. It's protection. If it comes with a spacious, calm, neutral sense of, not yet, that's intuition. Intuition is quiet. Fear is loud and tight.
And I need more clarity is usually just a code for I don't want to risk being seen trying.
100%. Which brings us to another powerful line. Confidence comes after contact, not before.
That really dismantles the whole fake it till you make it idea.
It does. It's more like do it until you are it.
So, to clear this static, there's a real-time clearing practice. You ask yourself, what truth in me is asking to become action?
And you just listen for a moment.
And then, and this is the brave part, you use an override statement. I am willing to take one small step, even without certainty.
Without certainty. That's the kicker. The desire for certainty is the trap. We want to guarantee that the podcast will succeed or the relationship will work or the job will be perfect.
If you knew you couldn't fail, it wouldn't be courage.
It would just be logic. The warrior moves because the move is right, not because the outcome is guaranteed. That's the only way to build self-trust. You trust yourself to handle the outcome, whatever it is.
Okay, so to help you, the listener, locate yourself on this map, there are a few journal prompts that are really powerful. We'll just read them out, and you can just mentally check in with where you land. I know I did.
They're quite revealing.
Prompt 1. Where have I been spiritually insightful but practically silent? Oof.
Yeah.
That one calls out the gap between the group chat wisdom and real life. We can have great conversations about what should happen, but are we doing it?
That's the gap between Neptune and Pisces, the insight, and Neptune and Aries, the action.
The second prompt is just as sharp. What have I been trying to rise above instead of stay present with?
That's the bypassing diagnostic. What mess are you ignoring, hoping it goes away? A messy room, a difficult conversation, a health issue?
Anything. And prompt 3. What would embodied courage look like in my real, ordinary life this week? Again, grounded, ordinary, not how do I save the world, but how do I show up for my life?
Maybe embodied courage is just telling your partner you need 10 minutes of silence when you get home from work.
Yeah.
Maybe it's applying for the job you don't think you're qualified for. Maybe it's just going to bed on time instead of scrolling.
Small, embodied acts. This is really the core of the deep dive today. A guided visualization called The Threshold of Becoming.
And I think this is important. We can analyze warrior energy all day, but unless you feel it in your nervous system, it's just more information.
From information to integration, that's the goal. So we're going to walk through the framework of this together. If you're driving, obviously, please keep your eyes on the road. You can do this just by sensing the feelings. But if you're in a safe place to do so, maybe just let your body settle for a moment.
You don't have to force anything.
Yeah.
Just drop your shoulders away from your ears. Unclench your jaw.
Take one slow breath in and let it all the way out.
Now, in your mind, imagine you're standing at a threshold. A quiet edge. Not a dramatic lift, just a line in the sand.
Behind you is the familiar world, the life you already know, the habits, the roles, the defenses that have kept you safe. This is the known.
Feel the weight of that. It's solid. It's real. We are not rejecting the past. One foot is still planted there, grounded in what you've survived.
But now, let your awareness drift forward. Ahead of you is the becoming. This isn't a clear picture, it's more of a presence, open space, unwritten.
And notice how that future feels. It isn't rushing at you, it isn't demanding a 5-year plan, it is simply waiting. It's responsive.
Now bring your attention back into your body. Feel one foot in the known and the other resting right on that edge. You are bridging the two worlds. You are the connection.
What is one quality you are carrying with you across this threshold? Is it honesty? Curiosity?
Maybe it's steadiness or courage.
Don't overthink it. Just let a word land and feel that quality settle into your chest, into your spine. This is what you're bringing with you.
And now, in your mind's eye, just feel yourself shift your weight 1 inch forward. Not a leap, just a step.
As you step, notice the ground. The ground firms up to meet you. The future doesn't require you to build the floor before you step. It solidifies on contact. You are not being tested, you are being met.
Just pause there for a moment. You don't need to go any further. Standing at this threshold, consciously, that is the work of the spiritual warrior.
It's the refusal to retreat and the courage to face the open space. Let that feeling sink in, the feeling of being capable of the unknown.
And when you're ready, just bring your attention back to the room you're in, the sounds around you, the chair beneath you, and just take a regular breath.
That was surprisingly potent, even just talking through it.
It's the pacing, right? We're so used to rushing from I have a problem to I fixed it. We skip the threshold, we skip standing in the uncertainty.
It's a beautiful image. You stand with 1 foot in the known, your history, your habits, what you've earned. That's solid ground. You don't abandon that.
And you extend 1 foot to the edge of the becoming.
You don't jump. You don't leave. You bridge.
It integrates that identity lag concept we talked about. You don't have to delete your old self to become the new one.
No.
You just transfer your weight. It's like walking. You don't let go of the back foot until the front foot is planted.
Right. And the core insight from that visualization is the future isn't demanding your confidence. It is responding to your presence.
Say that again.
The future isn't demanding your confidence. It is responding to your presence.
Systems theory again. The system evolves based on inputs. Your presence, your regulated, truthful presence is an input.
If you withdraw, you leave a vacuum, and vacuums get filled by chaos. If you participate, you shape the trajectory, even in a small way.
That leads us to the final thought of this whole deep dive. It's a soundbite that I think we should all carry with us into the week.
Let's hear it.
You were not born too early. You were born on time, and the future responds when you participate.
That lands. It really does, because it addresses that deep existential dread so many of us feel.
That feeling of, I don't belong here, or this timeline is too harsh, or, I wish I lived in a simpler time.
Yeah, but this reframes it. You are here because you have the specific calibration, the Magi status, the warrior potential to handle this moment. It's not a mistake.
It's an assignment.
It's an assignment, an initiation, not a punishment.
We are being initiated into a higher level of agency.
That's it.
So if we synthesize all of this, the Crimean War, the Aquarius sky, the neuroscience of lag, the practice of small steps, What is the mission for you, the listener? What do you do with this when this is over?
I think the mission is to stop waiting for the world to calm down before you start participating.
The world is not going to calm down.
It is not going to calm down. The tension you feel is the signal to move, not to freeze. Start small. Regulate your nervous system. Clean your side of the street.
Be the Florence Nightingale of your own life.
Yes. Don't try to magic the mess away. Just bring your lamp into it.
Participation is the mechanism of manifestation. I like that. It's a call to get your hands dirty in the best possible way.
It's the only way the new world gets built, brick by brick. So here's the call to action for the week to make this practical for you.
It's simple. Choose one small, courageous expression. And remember, courageous doesn't always mean loud.
Right. It could be a conversation you've been avoiding, or setting a boundary with work. Or maybe, and this is a big one, it's choosing to rest when your anxiety is telling you to just keep running.
That can be the ultimate warrior move, staying regulated when the world wants you frantic.
Whatever it is, do it not to prove anything, but just to let your presence be felt, to make contact with reality.
And see how reality responds.
I feel like I have a different grip on the week ahead.
Me too. It's always good to remember we have more agency than we think.
I am here for this.
Well, this has been a surprisingly grounded exploration of what could have been a very abstract topic. I'm definitely looking at my own identity lag a little differently now.
How so?
I just realized I've been waiting for a feeling of ready for certain things, that is. It's probably never coming.
Same. I think I'm going to go turn up the heat in the studio. That's my first warrior act of the day. Reclaiming my comfort so I can do my work.
Embodied action. I love it.
Small steps.
Okay.
To everyone listening, thank you for trusting us with your time and your attention. We know how valuable that is.
We're going to wrap up this deep dive here. We'll be back next time with another exploration. Until then, stay grounded, stay curious,
And keep participating.
Thanks for listening.
Take care.